Yeah, I was just talking about the beginning, how I started off in belly dance, the art of belly dance. I was in the, it's like I was in it from about like around 1975, and then I dropped out of it probably in the early 1980s, around 1980, 81, somewhere like that. I stopped doing belly dance stuff. And that's because I was kind of like, just, I got discouraged is I guess the right word for it, because a lot of it's like you're not taken very seriously, and you're not it's like they lots of times thinking of it as a step up from stripping and stuff. And so I always took the art form seriously and the dance seriously. So I kind of dropped out. I want to say around 82 or something like that. I think it was still dancing up till then. And then I dropped out, and then I got back into it probably around 1989. Started going to events and stuff, and I made some new friends and so on. Sue Turner, and then there were some other people. I got into there was MECDA. MECDA had been, it's like I became a member of MECDA again, it's like I joined like the high desert chapter. I did not live it out in the high desert, but I lived in the valley, and it's like they wanted me to join the high desert chapter because they needed more members. So it's like, okay, so I ended up doing high desert stuff, and in the around 91, 92. I had a new boyfriend, and he actually lived out in the high desert too, so that helped. But anyway, so I got back into it back then, and we were, there were a lot of belly dance events, that basically belly dancers for the most part just went to. They weren't necessarily like general public kind of thing. You could go to them if you knew about them, but basically it was for belly dancers. So there was like a Cairo Carnival, and then there were like different ones, small ones and stuff, here and there. I know there's a group down in San Diego, which is still around, Samita, and I would go down there sometimes and stuff. It's like I would belly dance at these different little events. I remember doing some out in the high desert. We'd have a small audience. And so on and off, through the years, I would do that, and I do have pictures of some of these events that I went to and I danced at. I was going to go back into the 1970s when I first started and stuff. I know I had one costume made by Sheila, and then it's like as time went forward, it's like I would have like, my mother, believe it or not, actually made one or two of my costumes for me. They were kind of very simple and everything, but they were nice looking costumes. And at one time, I kind of specialized. I wanted to do something different. I like snakes. I had a reticulated python. He was called Monty. And then I had some other snakes. I don't think I had any boas. I had a ball python, which was my favorite. Can't remember his name, but and I would dance with snakes just to do something different and stuff. And I remember distinctly dancing at my home when I was living in Hawthorne. It's like near Bodger Park. I remember having a party at home and having people over. And actually, when I was dancing, I think it was probably, I was still maybe in contact. I can't remember if it was then or it was, may have been, actually, yeah, it was in the 1970s when I was dancing. One of my teachers came to, her name was Clair Michaels, and she was one of my teachers. I had her for a couple classes. We were very fond of her. Lori and I had her classes and stuff, and I remember her being, and somewhere, I've got a picture with her in the background. It's like, and she actually changed her name to Free now. And then, so I did that, some of that, and let's see, I have to keep track of this, what I'm saying. It's like, let's see. My dance name was Suva. It's like everybody always had a dance name, and mine was Suva. I think there was a street named Suva when I was driving around someplace. I saw, because nobody used their real name really. They would use a different name, or they'd kind of take their name and change it for their dance name. Because basically none of the girls actually used their real name. It was like pretty much none of them anyway. 99% of them, had some kind of stage name. So they So it's like, I think there was a street named Suva, and I thought it was kind of cool name. It was similar to my name, Susie. So it's like, it's like, I'll go with that, So I don't think anybody really remembers me. I was never, by the way, I was never a really great dancer. I was a okay dancer. I was a decent dancer, but I was like, I was not in the top tier or anything. I enjoyed it. People did like watching me dance. So it's like, so I did, it's like, it was fun. So I just, and, let's see. I think I got it right. It's like, it's like I'll talk more about Marie Silva. It's like Marie Silva had the studio she named Habu. I mentioned that. Let's see. I think I'm gonna wind that up, and I'll talk about some of the other stuff. It's like as I go by, it's like, and as I go forward, it's like, because there's a lot of stories. I got a lot of stories, belly dance type stories, because I did that. It was one of my main hobbies, and actually, as far as hobbies go, it was like it's the only hobby I had that turned into later on turned into a business, and that I will talk about later. The International Academy of Middle Eastern Dance, where I produced shows and produced instructional videos, and that turned out to be a huge thing in my life. And that was started in later in the 90s, and I went into the 2000s.